We had, wild and woolly week last week. I imagine that most of the weeks are going to be that way. So this is kind of what we're looking at in the triple Qs, which is a proxy for the NASDAQ. And you can see that we got some bounces off the bottom last week. And typically, this would look very much like a double bottom. And sometimes as traders, you got to kind of like pick, which is going to be the move that is going to ensue. So this, you have two key reversals. So to me, the way things close, so you made a new low on Monday, close on the high, it was like a 5% move. Then on Friday, you retested that low, reclosed on the high, got everybody excited. But I still think that this thing has got some room to the downside. So the question is, do we go up, some more, which is entirely possible. We maybe create some symmetry. We've got this right shoulder over here. So maybe we create something proportionally over there. But I still think that this, head and shoulders, this whole double top, to me, that is still a top. Now, again, you could have a huge rally and then a failure. I don't know which one is going to come first. I just shorted. We had a 500-point rally, on the close. Kind of felt like a short covering rally on the Dow, and I just bought puts on the Dow right on the close. And now we're opening about 200 lower in the Dow. So I'm very, skeptical of these rallies. Again, they could last, a little bit longer. You see the Dow closed, just to my mind, this looked very much like a short covering rally. And I just reflexively closed my eyes, bought some puts on the close that expired this week. And hopefully I'll get out of jail on those. But to me, this is the Dow. To me, this is the formation. I think we put in a double top, which means there's a top. Now, again, there's all kinds of ways things can go. It can go up before it goes down, what have you. So this is just random. What we have here last week, it's just back and forth. This is what I talked about, where, where she goes, nobody knows. Then the question is, how do you catch these things? To me, these are reversals. Made a new high, close on the low, made a new high, close on the low. So that, and you also have this thing. So this is an area of resistance. So even if we peek through here, I just feel like it's not going to sustain. So in the meantime, we're just opening lower in the Dow. Now, as I always say, I always hate when you kind of leave this bar open, when you've got this, thing that closed. Now you close down here, and usually you have some kind of retracement, and then maybe you come down. But typically, you have to come back and reconcile that previous close. So, I don't know what to do on these puts. I'm going to get some, some mileage on the opening, and then the question is, does it just fail and leave this gap? So, it's a very random thing. But, when you look at the big picture, I still think this looks very bearish. You have the double top, you have kind of a shoulder here, a head here, and then this kind of looming right shoulder. So, if it dies, this thing's going to look like just a giant head and shoulders here. And
so because it closed on the high, would it be worth getting it into Tay? And like, where would the risk be?
So the problem is, I always say, now you have to wait till it closed to have it resolved. The problem is, with these large ranges, it could close all the way down here, and you say, well, look, I missed all of this downside. So the ranges are just extreme. I mean, you can see like every day here, 344 to, 331. That's just 34,000 to 31,000 is 3,000 Dow points, in one day. And that's the extremes. And then every other day is like 1,500 points, so the ranges are just enormous. The volatility is enormous. But to my mind, I don't know. The more it goes up, I'm just going to sell into it. I don't, it's like usually I say you should wait. You should wait for something like this where you make a reversal, made a new high, close on the low. And that way you can understand where to get in, where your risk is. When it's going up like this, you don't know where it's going to stop. That's the problem. I just blindly shorted this thing on the close because there's just, there's just no way to assess that. Is it going to stop here? Is it going to, what is it going to do before it does that? Does it go straight back up? I mean, there's all kinds of problems here. So, typically I say wait until you see the bar, wait until it resolves. I'm kind of just blindly following, I'm just selling into any healthy rally. So, from 1,000 to, 35,000, we rallied. And, while we may have more left on the table, I'll keep shorting into that. That's just my attitude. If I short here and it goes up, I'm actually not upset. I'm actually just going to keep shorting. So not really a great strategy. It's called a martingale strategy where you add to a losing position. And typically I don't recommend it. But in this case, I just feel like, you're looking at this reverse triangle on this Dow, which in and of itself doesn't really mean anything. And, eventually you're just going to go through this thing. So it's a bit of a, it's very hairy right now because the ranges are so extreme. We really don't know where, the tops have been put in yet. We could still have another week or two rally in a bear market. To me, I'm still looking at this as the bear market and, kind of like a head and shoulders. Here's the shoulder, here's the head. And maybe we're forming this right shoulder, but where she goes, how far before she turns, these are kind of, a little bit undetermined in here. It's just, again, a very random, every day is the opposite of the other. You can see that. Monday's up, Tuesday's down, Wednesday's new high, Thursday's down, Friday's back up. So these are just, random cadences. And, I'm just trying to catch extremes. So it's my mind right here. If we were to kind of come and even take that out, I would be looking at that as an area where, you're going to have some kind of resistance. So if we get back up here, I'm going to just short some.
You can see, 45 is 1.3 million.
$1.3 million short.
So pop out a profit for 118,000 there.
So you can see how this is going crazy now. You can see how the market's just going nuts.
I bet like $1.6 million on this position. I'm showing right now $23,000 gain.